Baba Vanga's 2025 prophecy: 3 powerful events will shake the earth, 3 will end life as we know it. They laughed at her, called her a fraud, a blind woman from the Balkans spinning stories about the end of the world. But the world kept turning, and one by one, her visions began to come true. The fall of the Twin Towers, the rise of global unrest, the disasters no one saw coming, except her. Baba Vanga, the mystic who claimed to see without eyes, has become more than a footnote in the annals of prophecy. She's a warning bell echoing across time. And now, as we enter the year 2025, her final and most terrifying predictions are beginning to come to pass. She spoke of 3 events that would shake the earth to its core, and 3 more that could unravel life as we know it. These aren't Hollywood plotlines or ancient myths dug up for clicks. They're visions that challenge us to look at the world and ourselves in a different light. So take a breath, set aside what you think you know, and step with us into a journey that weaves prophecy, science, and soul into a chilling yet empowering vision of what 2025 might bring. Number 1. Baba Vanga and the prophecy. They tried to silence her voice and mock her visions, yet the name Baba Vanga continues to stir both wonder and unease in people around the world. Though blind since childhood, she claimed to see what others could not: the unfolding of future events, etched not in ink but in energy. And time has been a strange ally to her words. Her past prophecies, once ridiculed, now read like eerie echoes of history: the fall of the Twin Towers, the Chernobyl disaster, and many other moments that changed the world. She was not a scientist nor a scholar, yet her insights into future events have left both skeptics and believers equally stunned. When she predicted the 9/11 attacks, few took her seriously. But when those towers fell, her words from years before suddenly rang hauntingly true. Similarly, her foresight into the Chernobyl disaster, describing a dark cloud, a burning place, and sickness spreading, became terrifyingly accurate. These are not mere coincidences. They are reminders that, sometimes, vision does not come from the eyes, but from something deeper, more connected to the unseen. Now, as 2025 approaches, we are faced with a new set of warnings, startling, powerful, and deeply unsettling. According to her final visions, 3 earth-shaking events are on the horizon, destined to test humanity's resilience, while 3 others threaten to reshape life as we know it. These aren't just ominous headlines or distant fantasies. They are reflections of a deeper truth about our fragile connection to this planet and each other. These 6 predictions, 3 that will shake the earth and 3 that may end life as we know it, are not meant to induce fear, but to awaken a deeper awareness. Number 2. 3 earth-shaking events. 1. Massive earthquake from ancient fault line. Let's explore one of Baba Vanga's most powerful and haunting prophecies: the awakening of an ancient fault line that could shake the very foundation of our world. According to the blind Bulgarian mystic, a massive earthquake is set to erupt in a year marked by great global tension, potentially 2025. She spoke of the earth groaning in pain, tearing itself open and reshaping the lands we know. An image that is as terrifying as it is thought-provoking. Geologists and seismologists, though grounded in science, have begun to echo a quiet concern. Ancient fault lines that have slept for centuries are now showing signs of restlessness. Some experts say we're overdue for a major seismic event. Could it be that this sleeping giant is finally ready to awaken? And if so, what kind of world will we be left with once it does? Now let's pause for a moment. What would it mean for us? Not just in terms of broken buildings and cracked streets, but in the way we live, think, and treat each other. Baba Vanga's prophecy wasn't just about the shaking of the earth. It was a message about the shaking of human hearts. There's a belief held by many spiritual traditions that the earth mirrors the inner state of humanity. When we're consumed by hatred, greed, and division, the earth reflects that unrest. So when Baba Vanga spoke of the earth splitting apart, was she also warning us about how far we've drifted from compassion, unity, and balance? Are we in some way part of the tremor? Seismologists report increased activity in places once thought safe, minor quakes, volcanic tremors, shifts in tectonic plates, all signs that something deep beneath us is stirring. But these aren't just geological occurrences. They may be part of something bigger, something spiritual. What if these events are nature's cries, trying to tell us something we refuse to see? Baba Vanga's prophecy isn't just a prediction, it's a call to wake up. If cities collapse, if coastlines change, if millions are forced from their homes, it won't just be a physical disaster, it will test our humanity. Will we help one another, or will we fall further into fear and selfishness? So I ask you, have you felt the subtle shifts, the rising tensions in both the planet and in society? Have you noticed the signs around you, not just in nature, but in how we live and interact every day? Could this be the earth responding to the energy we put out into the world? Let this not be a message of fear, but a message of awareness. The ground beneath our feet may be uncertain, but the choices we make today, how we treat others, how we protect nature, how we live with mindfulness, are still within our control. We don't know if 2025 will be the year this prophecy is fulfilled, but we do know that we have the power to shift the energy around us, to heal what's broken inside and out. In the end, the lesson here isn't just about surviving an earthquake. It's about preventing the inner quakes that shake the soul. When we live in harmony, when we act from kindness, when we let go of hate, maybe the earth doesn't need to tremble to get our attention. Maybe the greatest prophecy is not one that warns us of doom, but one that guides us back to peace. What kind of energy are you sending into the world today? Let that be the real question. 2. Solar storm causing global blackout. Imagine waking up one morning and everything you've come to rely on, your phone, the internet, even electricity itself, is simply gone. No warning, no countdown, just darkness and silence where there was once constant connection. Baba Vanga, the blind Bulgarian mystic known for her mysterious visions, foresaw a moment she described as a fire in the sky, a powerful force that would bring our modern world to a sudden, grinding halt. While that might sound like something out of a science fiction movie, scientists today are beginning to warn us of a very real threat that aligns with this eerie prophecy, an intense solar storm, one strong enough to shut down technology on a global scale. You may be wondering, what exactly is a solar storm and how could it affect us this dramatically? Well, the sun goes through cycles, and during periods of high activity, it releases massive bursts of energy called solar flares and coronal mass ejections, CMEs. If one of these were to hit Earth with enough force, It could overload our magnetic field and fry our electronic infrastructure in minutes. Now picture that. Financial markets crashing, hospitals unable to operate, planes grounded, satellites disabled, and even basic communication systems completely cut off. No GPS, no news, no digital lifelines. It's like stepping back in time, but with none of the systems in place to support that kind of lifestyle. What's so unsettling is that this isn't just speculation. It has happened before, on a smaller scale. In 1859, a geomagnetic storm known as the Carrington event knocked out telegraph systems across the globe. And that was during a time when humanity wasn't nearly as dependent on technology as we are today. Can you imagine the impact if something like that struck in our digital age? The chaos, the confusion, the fear? It would be overwhelming. But Baba Vanga's prophecy isn't just about destruction. There's something deeper woven into her vision, something that makes us pause and reflect. What if this isn't just a disaster, but a message? A wake-up call about how vulnerable we've become by putting all our trust in machines and screens. Have we grown so attached to the digital world that we've forgotten how to truly live without it? Could we survive, even thrive, without constant connectivity? This prophecy challenges us to ask ourselves important questions. If our high-tech safety net vanished, how would we respond, not just as individuals, but as a society? Would we panic, or would we rediscover skills and values that modern life has slowly pushed aside? Maybe this fire in the sky is symbolic too. Perhaps it represents a turning point, a chance to reset, to reconnect with nature, with each other, and with the inner strength we often overlook. Could such a catastrophe open a door to something more meaningful, something ancient that still lives quietly in the background of our noisy world? Maybe it's an invitation to balance the power of technology with the wisdom of simplicity. So what do you think? If the lights went out tomorrow, who would you become in the darkness? Would you fear it? Or would you find your way by a different kind of light, the light of awareness, resilience, and inner peace? 3. Rise of a disruptive global leader or force. In these uncertain times, the thought of a powerful new force rising across the globe echoes the ancient words of Baba Vanga, who foresaw the emergence of a figure, or perhaps a movement, that would challenge the very fabric of our world. She spoke not of a hero, but of a disruptor, someone or something that comes from the shadows, not to restore the old, but to break it apart and create something entirely new. This prophecy doesn't whisper promises of peace or healing, but instead signals a dramatic shift, a moment when global alliances could fracture, long-standing systems may collapse, and humanity might find itself recalibrating what leadership, power, and influence truly mean. While we often search for a name, a face, or a flag to attach to such predictions, it's worth considering that this disruptive presence may not take the form of a single individual at all. In our world today, where voices can reach millions with a single post, and movements can surge into the mainstream overnight, the force Baba Vanga referred to might be a new ideology, a digital revolution, or a global awakening that unites people not through borders, but through beliefs. And yet some speculate that this prophecy points to a real person, someone now rising quietly in influence, unnoticed by most. This individual could be a political underdog, a bold entrepreneur shaping minds with innovation, or perhaps a spiritual teacher whose words resonate across a weary, divided world. As we reflect on the shape of our society, from the erosion of trust in institutions to the yearning for something genuine and transformative, the environment is ripe for such a disruptor to emerge. Unlike traditional leaders who rise through expected paths, this figure may challenge what leadership even looks like, breaking away from titles and formalities and leading through influence, clarity, and bold vision. With the world standing on the edge of climate challenges, political instability, economic pressure, and cultural shifts, people are increasingly looking not for control, but for courage, the kind that comes from those who dare to reshape the narrative rather than preserve it. But the most powerful idea to consider here is that the leader Baba Vanga predicted might not be a person at all. It may be the rise of collective energy, a movement formed from the shared discontent, hope, and determination of people across nations. We've seen this before in revolutions born from silence and struggle, where ordinary citizens become extraordinary forces for change. In 2025, with technology connecting hearts and minds across the globe faster than ever before, this spark could spread rapidly, fueled by a hunger for truth and justice. It could redefine how we solve problems, how we live together, and how we govern ourselves. Not with fear, but with awareness and cooperation. For all of us walking through these times, the lesson may be this: while we cannot control what rises, we can choose how we respond. Instead of getting lost in fear or speculation, we can stay grounded by strengthening our values, practicing compassion, and committing to being awake and aware in a rapidly changing world. So, as we step into 2025, with uncertainty in the air and prophecy lingering at the edges of our awareness, we must ask ourselves, are we waiting for someone to lead us, or are we becoming the very change we seek? Whether the disruptor arrives as a person or as a wave of collective will, one thing is certain: this moment in history is inviting us to pay attention, to live mindfully, and to be ready not just for transformation, but for participation in something far bigger than ourselves. You're not here by accident. If you've watched this far, something deep inside you is searching for answers. Type "Awaken 2025" in the comments to mark this moment of awakening. There's more to reveal. Stay with us until the end to understand how these three events could reshape the very fabric of our world. Number 3. Life-altering events. 1. Vanishing Cities. Imagine waking up one day to find the city you love slowly disappearing, not through war, not by the hands of man, but by the very earth itself. This is what Baba Vanga, the blind mystic of Bulgaria, whose predictions have stirred curiosity and fear across generations, seemed to warn us about. She foresaw entire cities vanishing, sinking beneath rising oceans, collapsing into the ground, or going up in flames so fierce nothing remains but ash and silence. These aren't just scenes from a movie. They're possibilities that raise powerful questions about where we're heading as a planet. Some say her visions were metaphors, symbolizing the urgent crisis of climate change. But others believe something deeper might be at play. Shifting magnetic poles, underground movements we can't yet detect, or even unknown forces from beyond our world. When you look at the strange weather, the fires raging longer than ever before, the floods swallowing streets, and temperatures rising in ways we've never seen, don't you wonder if these aren't just accidents, but signs? And more importantly, what are they signs of? Now close your eyes for a moment and picture the skyline of a major city. New York, London, Tokyo. Towering buildings, bustling streets, lights glowing like stars. Then, imagine all of it underwater, or cracked and sunken like a broken mirror. The idea may feel distant, even impossible. But isn't that how most great changes begin? As whispers, until they become roars. Baba Vanga's message is not meant to instill fear, but awareness. She was not a scientist, but she had a way of seeing beyond what most people could. Her predictions remind us of a truth that Buddhism has long taught. All conditioned things are impermanent. Cities, like people, rise and fall. And sometimes, it's not just nature that changes, but human choices that speed up the process. Our industries, our consumption, our disconnection from the earth. These are all factors that may contribute to the vanishing of what we hold dear. And yet, even if the cause were mysterious or cosmic, like a pole shift or something alien in nature, it still invites the same question. How prepared are we to face change? You see, in the Dhammapada, the Buddha said, "The world is afflicted by death and decay, but the wise do not grieve, having realized the nature of the world." This isn't a call to apathy, it's a call to awaken, to understand that everything we build externally must be balanced with what we build internally. So, let's reflect together. If the city you live in were to vanish tomorrow, what would you wish you had done differently? Who would you reach out to? What would truly matter to you? These aren't questions just for the end. They're for now. Because, prophecy or not, the signs of imbalance are all around us. The earth is speaking through melting ice, roaring wildfires, and seas creeping into the land. And maybe, just maybe, through Baba Vanga's haunting vision of vanishing cities. So I ask you this, not as a warning, but as a gentle nudge to the heart. What does it mean to truly live wisely on this earth? How can we honor what we have while preparing for what may come? Share your thoughts, your reflections, your hopes, because in this time of uncertainty, your voice is part of the wisdom we need. 2. Digital collapse. Let's take a deep breath and walk together through one of Baba Vanga's most striking and unsettling visions for the future, what many call the digital collapse. Picture this, not as a fantasy, but as a real possibility she warned about. Waking up one morning and realizing the digital world you depend on has vanished. Your phone doesn't respond. You try to check your bank account, access your emails, connect with loved ones online, but it's all gone. No internet, no cloud storage, no GPS, no social media. It's as if someone pulled the plug on the entire system we've built our lives around. Baba Vanga, the mystic whose predictions have stirred wonder and fear for decades, foresaw a technological collapse so total that it would force the world into an unplanned reset. Whether caused by a devastating cyber attack, a rogue artificial intelligence turning against its creators, or even a cosmic event from beyond our planet, the result is the same. Everything digital, everything we take for granted, wiped clean in an instant. Let's think deeper. In such a moment, communication between countries would falter, financial systems would break down, and governments would struggle to manage widespread panic and confusion. Our sense of control, safety, and routine would vanish. We've built our homes, businesses, and even our relationships on the foundation of digital connectivity. So if that foundation crumbled, how would we live? Would we descend into chaos, each person for themselves? Or would we find a new way to connect and survive? Would communities come together, helping each other face the unknown, or would fear and distrust divide us? It's easy to feel scared by such a prophecy, but sometimes fear invites us to look within and ask, what truly matters when everything else is stripped away? There's a question here worth asking. Have we become too dependent on our devices? Do we know who we are when we are not constantly plugged in, distracted, and online? Perhaps this digital collapse isn't only a warning of destruction, but an invitation to reflect on our disconnection from nature, from human presence, and from the silence we rarely allow ourselves to feel. If we lost all our screens and signals, maybe we'd begin to see each other again. Maybe we'd remember the value of a conversation face to face, of handwritten letters, of growing food with our own hands. Could this reset be a return to something more real? We don't know what will happen tomorrow, but we can prepare our hearts and minds today. We can build habits of mindfulness and presence. We can choose to spend less time staring at screens and more time listening to the people around us, to the rhythm of the natural world, and to the stillness within. Baba Vanga's vision is not just about technology breaking down. It's about humanity waking up. So ask yourself, if the digital world disappeared today, what part of you would still remain strong? What relationships, what inner peace, what values would guide you through the storm? The lesson is not to live in fear, but to live in awareness, to create balance. Use technology, but don't let it use you. Stay informed, but don't become consumed. Most importantly, never forget that the most powerful connection you can build isn't online. It's the one between your heart and the world around you. That's something no collapse can take away. 3. Cosmic event. The third and most mysterious of Baba Vanga's 2025 prophecies is one she referred to as a cosmic event, a message wrapped in both awe and uncertainty, a final celestial warning said to reshape the course of human existence. Unlike the more grounded earthly events she predicted, this one touches the sky and the stars, stirring deep questions about our place in the universe. Baba Vanga, known for her uncanny visions, hinted at a powerful event from the cosmos that would act as a turning point for humanity. While she never detailed the exact nature of the occurrence, believers and researchers have speculated widely over the years. Some suggest it could be an asteroid impact, an echo of ancient extinction-level events that remind us how fragile life on Earth truly is. Others speak of a massive solar flare or a burst of cosmic energy, perhaps something that disrupts Earth's magnetic field and technology, throwing the modern world into chaos. Then there are those who go even further, believing this prophecy refers to the long-anticipated revelation of extraterrestrial life, a global disclosure that humanity is not alone in the universe. Regardless of which possibility is true, the underlying message seems to be this: we must prepare ourselves not just physically, but mentally and spiritually for truths that may challenge everything we believe. In today's fast-paced world, where we rely so heavily on technology and material comfort, the thought of such a cosmic disruption is both frightening and humbling. But perhaps that's the deeper meaning Baba Vanga intended for us to grasp. Not fear, but awakening. Whether the sky delivers light or destruction, the real change must begin within us. And so we must ask ourselves, are we living in alignment with what truly matters? Have we grown too distracted by daily noise to recognize the silent signs all around us? As we consider the possibility of extraterrestrial contact, it's worth remembering that such an event would not just reshape science. It would challenge religion, philosophy, and even the way we treat each other. If we are no longer alone, then unity becomes not just ideal, but essential. Borders, prejudices, and the illusion of separateness lose meaning. In the face of a shared cosmic truth, humanity would be forced to look inward and confront both its greatness and its flaws. And so, in a time where division is common and truth is often drowned out by misinformation, perhaps Baba Vanga's prophecy serves as a reminder that something bigger than all of us may be on the horizon. A reset, not in destruction, but in perspective. The lesson here for each of us, especially those between the ages of 30 and 65, who have witnessed so many changes in the world already, is to stay rooted in what truly matters: compassion, understanding, resilience, and a connection to something greater than ourselves. We do not need to know whether the stars will bring fire or wisdom to begin living with more care and clarity. If the universe is watching, let it find us kind. If change is coming, let it find us ready, not just with supplies and plans, but with open hearts, clear minds, and a spirit that remembers what it means to be human. Thank you for watching today's video on Baba Vanga's 2025 prophecy, 3 powerful events that could shake the world and 3 that might change life as we know it. Before we move on, I just want to say how grateful I am to have you here. Your presence means more than you know. If this is your first time joining us, feel free to comment, "I am a seeker." And if you've been walking this path with us for a while, drop a "still seeking" to let us know you're still here, still curious. Your voice, your energy, it all adds to this shared journey, so thank you. Now, let's keep going together, shall we? Buddhist wisdom, guidance amid the storm. Baba Vanga's prophecies for 2025, foretelling earthquakes that shake the land, global blackouts that silence our digital lives, leaders who disrupt the balance of power, and cities vanishing into the sea, can stir deep fear in the hearts of many, especially in an age already teetering between constant change and uncertainty. But when we view such intense predictions through the lens of Buddhist wisdom, something shifts. Fear, while natural, loses its grip when we begin to understand that the true storm is not outside, it's within. In times when the world speaks of endings and collapse, the Dharma gently reminds us that the very nature of existence is change. The Buddha taught that everything that arises will pass away. Not just people, but entire empires, technologies, beliefs, and even civilizations. As the Dhammapada says, all conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with true wisdom, one becomes free from suffering. These words are not meant to be poetry, they are a powerful compass. Baba Vanga's warnings, when seen this way, are not wild forecasts, but echoes of this ancient truth. We are reminded that even in the digital age, impermanence remains a law beyond any technology. When we stop resisting the idea that things will end, we also stop clinging so tightly. Our cities may be shaken, our comforts may vanish, but with awareness, we do not fall apart with them. We become fluid like water, calm and resilient, flowing through life instead of fighting against it. In a time when darkness, literal or symbolic, might spread across the world, the strongest light we have is mindfulness, not a mystical concept, but a practical daily habit. Mindfulness grounds us in the now, even as everything around us shifts. No matter what happens in 2025, the one who is mindful won't be caught in the grip of fear. While others may scramble, the mindful person will pause, breathe, and respond with clarity. Thich Nhat Hanh, the great Zen master, once said, "Feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor." And that's the key. We can't always predict the winds of the world, but we can learn to hold our ground by coming home to ourselves, again and again. A few minutes of silence each day, a moment of awareness before speaking, a breath before reacting. These are the practices that turn panic into peace. And when millions of people begin to live with mindful presence, the world begins to shift, not through grand revolutions, but through inner transformation. So rather than fearing collapse, we begin to ask, am I awake in this moment? Because it is in that moment, not in some distant prophecy, that true power lies. Even if the earth splits open, even if leaders fail and systems collapse, one thing will always remain: our capacity to care. Compassion is the thread that weaves humanity together, especially in times of crisis. The Buddha offered us a timeless image. Just as a mother would protect her only child with her life, so should one cultivate boundless love toward all beings. It is this deep compassion, not weapons or wealth, that becomes the greatest protection. Baba Vanga's visions might show us a world plunged into turmoil, but it is love that will help us endure. And we've seen this throughout history: wars, famines, disasters, and yet the human heart keeps finding ways to love, to forgive, to rebuild. The Dhammapada reminds us, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. So when fear threatens to harden your heart, soften it instead. Offer a kind word, help someone who is struggling, or simply refuse to add more fear to the world. In doing so, you don't just survive the storm, you become a light in it. But how do we walk this path in daily life, when the noise of the world is so loud and our days are so full? The answer lies in the Buddha's gentle encouragement. Be a lamp unto yourself. In a world that often pushes us to depend on headlines, predictions, and opinions, this teaching calls us back to our own inner wisdom. Self-reliance doesn't mean going it alone. It means trusting that your heart, your mind, your intention can be a steady guide. We don't need to wait for disaster to change how we live. Start by making space for silence, even if it's just 15 minutes each morning. Turn off your devices, not because the internet may collapse, but because your soul needs quiet to breathe. Take time to notice the beauty in the ordinary. Express gratitude, even when things feel heavy. These aren't grand gestures. They're small, sacred practices that build resilience. As the modern teacher Jack Cornfield said, in the end, these things matter most. How well did you love? How fully did you live? How deeply did you let go? Self-reliance is about knowing that even if all around you shifts, the ground of awareness beneath your feet is always steady. And so, as we consider Baba Vanga's dramatic predictions, earthquakes, cosmic anomalies, collapsing power grids, we must ask ourselves, what is the true message beneath these warnings? Perhaps it's not just about survival or preparing for disaster, but about waking up to how we are living right now. Prophecy can be like the wind, wild, uncontrollable and unpredictable, but our mind is the sail. If it is steady, focused and full of compassion, we can navigate even the roughest seas. The Buddha never taught us to fear the future. He taught us to know the present. And that's where your real power lives. Not in trying to control what may come, but in choosing awareness, kindness, and courage today. In every moment, we're offered two choices: live in fear or live in mindful awareness. One tightens your chest and narrows your vision. The other opens your heart and clears your path. And so, dear listener, as the world speculates about what may come in 2025, ask yourself, am I preparing my mind as much as I prepare my home? Because it is not the earthquake that decides your fate, it is the steadiness of your heart. So, as we stand at the edge of uncertainty, listening to Baba Vanga's haunting visions of what may unfold in 2025, let us remember, prophecy isn't destiny, it's an invitation to reflect, to awaken, and to live more consciously. Whether or not these events come to pass, the deeper question remains: how are we living today? Are we grounded in fear or in compassion? Are we preparing only our homes or also our hearts? The truth is, the future will always hold mystery, but in the present moment we hold the power to choose kindness, to nurture awareness, and to walk the path of wisdom. Thank you for walking this journey with us. If this video spoke to you, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss the next step in our path together. Until then, stay mindful, stay compassionate, and may your heart remain steady, no matter what comes.